You're not just losing time, you're losing years you will never get back. And the worst part? No one ever taught you the basic rules of how to turn effort into real progress. This video is a lesson you should have gotten 10 years ago. The missing lesson: commanding your purpose, desire, and faith. The principles you missed are simple. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. But ideas are useless without the systematic organization and persistent action we are about to detail. If you are ready for this knowledge, we can stop the hemorrhaging of time and begin converting those lost years into your greatest advantage, starting right now with the first and most critical rule. I speak to you, the one who feels the clock running against him, who has tried hard only to feel stuck, or who looks at his life and sees the heavy hand of a toxic environment. I know the feeling of frustration when immense effort yields only weak, uncertain results. You are not stupid, nor are you lazy. You are simply untaught. You were handed the wrong map and instructed to obey rules that were never designed to lead to wealth or freedom. The time you have spent in indecision or in circles of negativity is gone, but the energy of regret must now be transmuted into the burning focus of purpose. Let me state the law clearly, as I always must. You are not too late, but you do not have time to waste. What you missed in the first half of your life, you must gain now through the organized application of power, precision, and principle. We begin by correcting the fundamental mistake that has cost you dearly. You think you're losing time because your effort produced weak results. That's because you were taught to wish instead of being taught how to command. The first untaught lesson is replacing vague hope with a burning desire. I have studied the lives of the 500 most successful men this nation has ever produced, and in every case I found that their achievements were preceded by a consuming, white-hot obsession. They did not simply want money, they had a definite desire for it, backed by a plan for acquiring it. The difference between a mild wish and a burning desire is the difference between failure and fortune. A mere wish is a thought impulse without direction, while a burning desire is a dynamic force that commands the resources of the mind and the world. The fatal flaw in 98% of those who fail is the constant, indefinite postponement of action, which is simply a symptom of a weak aim. They have a hope, a wish, a mild interest in success, but they mistake that flickering candlelight for the true fire of burning desire. Success does not operate on a convenient schedule. It demands the surrender of your will to one powerful, all-consuming aim. This intensity of purpose is what gives the universe notice that you are serious. A mere academic interest in wealth will yield academic results. Actual wealth requires fire. The intensity of your desire determines the quantity of effort you are willing to apply and the tenacity with which you will overcome temporary defeat. If your desire is so weak that it allows you to hit the snooze button, to choose distraction over discipline, to delay the most important work of your life, then you have not yet defined a goal. You have merely indulged in a wish. Wishful thinking will lead you to the poorhouse. The riches of this world, both material and spiritual, respond only to the man who has defined his definite chief aim and infused it with the power of emotion. The definite chief aim acts as a mental magnet, drawing necessary resources and connections toward you. It is the rudder and the engine of your mind working in perfect concert. This definite purpose is the mental equivalent of the plans a master builder uses before laying the first stone. The truth is, many of you hesitate because you do not know precisely what you want, or you lack the faith that you can achieve it. This ambiguity is what allows the past, your wasted time, your negative environment, to continue dictating your present. A man cannot steer a ship without a destination, and the currents of life will happily carry the aimless man into the harbor of permanent failure. The sea of life offers no reward to the drifter. The vast majority of men live and pass away without ever crystallizing their true goals, which is why they serve those who have. Faith, in this context, is not mere belief, but the state of mind where the definite chief aim is accepted as an absolute certainty, enabling the subconscious mind to proceed with execution. We need to install the habit of decisive action right now. This is not about feeling ready. It is about obeying the law of creation. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. But ideas are useless without systematic organization and persistent action. Every structure you see, every fortune ever built, began as an intangible thought impulse. But that impulse was translated into reality only when it was defined, written, and mixed with action. The act of writing and defining solidifies the thought, preparing it for the subconscious mind. Thought impulses, when indefinite, are powerless. Definiteness is the first step toward materialization. The process of defining and writing your aim is the bridge that takes the vague energy of a wish and converts it into the actionable power of a fixed command. Consider the case of Edwin C. Barnes, a man who, in the popular view, began late and possessed nothing useful. He had no money, no connections, and no formal education that would qualify him for the grand vision he held. But Barnes possessed one thing that made all the difference: a white-hot, burning desire to become a business partner of the great Thomas Edison, not just to work for him, but to work with him. Barnes did not wish for this partnership. He decided on it. He traveled on freight trains to reach Edison's laboratory, appearing before the inventor looking like a tramp. Edison noted that Barnes looked like any other tramp, but there was a fire in his eyes that spoke of a definite purpose. Barnes demanded an opportunity. Edison did not give it to him easily. He gave Barnes the most menial, distasteful work he could find. Barnes worked for years, enduring mockery and temporary defeat. He waited not for the right moment, but for the right opportunity, and all the while he never changed his definite aim. He knew exactly what he wanted. He used the job as a placeholder for his ambition, not a destination. This single focus inoculated him against the negative suggestions and failures that undermined others. He proved that a definite purpose can overcome every material lack. He understood that a man may start anywhere if he possesses the proper mindset, which is forged in the intensity of desire. When Edison invented a new office machine, a dictating machine called the Ediphone, it was difficult to sell. No one in the Edison organization believed in it. Barnes saw his opportunity. He volunteered to sell it. And he succeeded where others failed because his entire existence was tied to the vision of partnership. He did not quit his distasteful job until he had translated his desire into its physical equivalent, a contract to market the machine nationally, and a fortune that followed. His success was not an accident. It was the inevitable result of maintaining an unshakable, definite chief aim through years of seemingly insignificant labor. Barnes's story is your blueprint. He was delayed by poverty and lack of formal preparation, but his definite purpose and persistence conquered both. You cannot afford to delay the creation of your own blueprint. Barnes proved that your lost years are merely fuel for your definite purpose. But that purpose is nothing without immediate, organized action. The following 6 commands are the non-negotiable price of your future freedom. You must obey them now. Action steps. The 6 commands to fuel achievement. These 6 steps, which I have taught to every successful person I have studied, are the systematic method for transmuting the intangible thought of desire into its material equivalent. They are the first steps the late starter must take to reclaim his lost time. First command: fix the exact result and reciprocity. Determine precisely the definite goal, for example, exact amount of money you intend to acquire. Define exactly what service, skill, or commodity you intend to give in return. Riches are not given. They are earned through equivalent service. Be more precise in defining your goal than you are in balancing your checkbook. This commitment to service in return for riches establishes a fair exchange, which is a fundamental law of all organized economies. Second command: establish a hard deadline. Set a definite date when you intend to possess the outcome. This deadline creates the urgency that prevents indefinite postponement and anchors your definite aim to the world of reality. A goal without a deadline is merely a fantasy. The deadline is the critical element that turns an academic theory into an immediate plan of action, forcing you to begin. Third command: Start now, ready or not. Create a definite, practical plan and begin at once to put it into action, whether you feel ready or not. The time will never be just right. Immediate action is the true measure of your sincerity. An average plan executed now is infinitely superior to a perfect plan delayed indefinitely. The failure to act on an inspired thought within 24 hours often means the thought impulse will fade and never be resurrected. Fourth command, write the command, the DCA statement. Write out a clear, concise statement covering your exact desire, the deadline, the reciprocal service, and the plan. Reducing the desire to write is the first and most critical step in converting the thought impulse into its physical counterpart. This is your oath, your binding contract with yourself. Writing is the act that creates an undeniable physical presence for your intangible desire, making it real to both your conscious and subconscious mind. Fifth command, the twice daily ritual of faith. Read your written statement aloud twice daily. Once before retiring at night, and again immediately upon arising in the morning. This repetition is the systematic application of autosuggestion, feeding the definite aim directly into the seat of all power, your subconscious mind. This consistent repetition builds the money consciousness essential for success, overriding the negative self-talk of your past. Sixth command, emotionalize the possession. As you read your statement, you must see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the object of your desire. The subconscious mind acts upon only those thought impulses which are well mixed with emotion or feeling. This emotionalization is the living fire that transmutes thought into gold. The emotion of faith, when mixed with your definite aim, is the most powerful impulse you can transmit to your subconscious. You have the power to influence your own subconscious mind, but only through a definite, structured command. Your first task, therefore, is not to work hard, but to think with definiteness. The time you wasted yesterday is gone forever, but the energy you wasted on indecision can be harnessed now. Your written statement is the map, the key, and the fuel. Do not proceed until you have obeyed this command, fixing the faulty programming, the mental lever, autosuggestion. No one taught you that your mind is a broadcasting and receiving station. You are losing years because you indifferently allowed yourself to become failure conscious. The second lesson is taking self-control and programming your own success. If you look back, you will see that your struggles began the moment you permitted negative thoughts, often thoughts inherited from your environment, to dominate your mind. Every person is what they are because of the dominating thoughts they permit to occupy their mind. Man is the master of his own earthly destiny because he has the power to influence his own subconscious mind. Those who believe they are doomed to poverty are creators of their own misfortunes due to a negative belief system translated by the subconscious mind. Your mind, in its native state, does not automatically attract success. It requires definite, purposeful conditioning. Do not mistake the echo of criticism for reality. Your present reality is merely the crystallized result of your dominating thought habits of the past. The tragedy for the untaught is that they mistake their subconscious programming for reality. They hear the voice of doubt, the echo of criticism, and the fear of failure, and they believe that these are facts, not merely suggestions implanted by accident or design. You were programmed to be small, to be obedient, and to seek security rather than command. You must now understand that the thoughts you permit to take root determine the kind of consciousness you develop. You are either attracting riches or poverty, and that attraction is dictated by your mental programming. You cannot achieve wealth consciousness while simultaneously harboring the toxic residue of past fears. The subconscious mind makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It acts only on the suggestion that is repeated most frequently and mixed with the most emotion. I recall the powerful example of the uneducated Henry Ford, who commanded his engineers to produce the impossible, the Veight engine block cast in a single piece. The engineers, relying on established knowledge and the consensus of the industry, told him it was impossible. Ford simply said, "Produce it and stay on the job until you succeed." His success was due, not to engineering knowledge, but to applying the principles of success, one of which is desire, knowing what one wants, and mixing that aim with unwavering faith. Ford's mental attitude, his refusal to accept the mental programming of his engineers, was the lever that moved the material world. He proved that the human mind, when fixed upon a definite purpose, is stronger than all of the world's accumulated knowledge. Ford's victory was a triumph of autosuggestion and fixed purpose over the tyranny of established opinion and generalized knowledge. You are losing years because your mind is operating on the faulty programming installed by the old system. You must now assume absolute self-control and install the new software of success. This is done through the systematic application of autosuggestion, the only mechanism through which you can consciously feed your subconscious mind. Action steps. Programming the subconscious for success. You must make the voluntary conscious use of autosuggestion a non-negotiable part of your daily rhythm. First command, demand self-confidence daily. Apply Hill's written self-confidence formula. Demand persistent, continuous action toward your DCA. Concentrate for 30 minutes daily upon thinking of the person you intend to become, creating a clear mental picture. This means closing your eyes, seeing the life you demand, and feeling the emotion of already possessing it. This focused, emotionalized concentration is the daily mental exercise required to transform timid thoughts into confident commands. Second command, build a wall of immunity. Recognize that susceptibility to negative influences is a major evil. Put your willpower into constant use until it builds a wall of immunity against negative influences in your own mind. Protect yourself against the subtle suggestions of doubt and fear, both from within and from others. If a thought does not serve your definite aim, reject it instantly. Your willpower must be the gatekeeper, standing guard to prevent the entry of thoughts that conflict with your definite chief aim. Third command, audit your mental input and environment. The subconscious mind accepts voluntary or involuntary thought impulses, including those picked up from others. You must close the doors tightly and admit only thought impulses of your own choice. Your daily associates constitute a most important and influential part of your environment. If your circle is toxic, if your friends or family are constantly negative, or who indulge in criticism and doubt, you must eliminate or minimize association with them. Your survival depends on separating yourself from those who would rather see you safe and small than free and wealthy. Cut the cord. Failure to enforce this quarantine means you are constantly polluting your subconscious with the very mental poisons you are trying to eliminate. Fourth command, identify and eliminate fear. Your mind must be prepared to receive this philosophy by clearing out indecision, doubt, and fear. The fear of criticism is a major destroyer, causing people to refuse to take chances or set high goals for themselves. You must consciously and ruthlessly clear out these enemies. They must be replaced immediately and persistently by constructive thoughts mixed with positive emotion. These enemies are the mental baggage of your past, and they must be thrown overboard before you advance. The conscious identification and labeling of these fears, poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and ultimate cessation of life, deprives them of their hidden, paralyzing power. The progress principle, stopping the clock, decision and planning. You've been losing years because no one taught you the link between time and decision. Procrastination is a barrier for ambition. The lesson is that you must master delay or you will land on the rocks. If you look back at your regrets, they are not moments of decisive failure, they are moments of decisive hesitation. Lack of decision was near the head of the list of the 30 major causes of failure found in the analysis of over 25,000 men and women. This is why successful leaders reach decisions promptly and change them slowly. People who fail reach decisions slowly, if at all, and change them quickly. Your wasted time is a monument to your past indecision. Indecision is not merely delay. It is the refusal to accept responsibility for your own destiny. The man who wavers in his decisions shows he is not sure of himself and cannot lead successfully. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. The time you feel you have lost was not stolen by circumstance. It was surrendered by a lack of prompt and fixed decision. Indecision is silence in the face of opportunity. The world judges you not on your intention, but on the firmness of your resolve. Every day of delay is a contribution to the success of a man who made his decision yesterday. You cannot afford to. Donate your time to your competitors. The moment a definite decision is made, a powerful psychic force is released that begins to organize the necessary resources for its materialization. I recall the powerful example of Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez, who was entrusted with raising $1 million for his college. He spent 2 years in earnest prayer and wishful thinking without taking definite, decisive action. The result was zero. He believed that the idea alone was sufficient. Finally, realizing the uselessness of mere desire, he reached a definite decision to secure the money within a week. He organized a plan and acted upon it instantly. He called a meeting of the trustees, and in a powerful address, he laid out the definite plan for the college, infusing his words with the conviction born of a fixed decision. An elderly gentleman in the audience, deeply moved by the definite nature of the demand and the certainty of the speaker, stood and offered to give the entire $1 million. The necessary funds were secured 36 hours after Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez reached his definite decision. The money did not respond to his vague wish for 2 years. It responded to his prompt, definite, and unshakable decision. Vague thinking is useless until decision and a concrete plan are fixed. The decisive mind attracts the solution. The late starter, the man who feels behind, cannot afford the luxury of indecision. You must move with the speed of a charging army. This illustrates the law that definite plans and decisions attract definite results, while vague desires attract nothing. Your achievement can be no greater than your plans are sound. Decision is not about being correct. It is about being fixed. It is the absolute commitment that separates the master from the servant. Wavering is a form of self-sabotage that the man of achievement cannot permit. Your first attempt at a plan may be faulty, but a faulty plan vigorously executed is infinitely superior to no plan at all, for it immediately provides you with the necessary feedback for correction. Action steps, precision action and blueprint building. Your definite aim must be converted into organized planning by following these commands. First command, master procrastination. Make it a habit to reach decisions promptly, and once made, hold them firmly. Do not wait for the time to be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you have. The swiftness of your decision is the first test of your courage. To break the habit of delay, you must replace the old pattern with the new habit of instantaneous action on all matters pertaining to your definite aim. Second command, reduce plans to concrete form. Desire must be crystallized into action. Plans must be reduced to writing to give concrete form to the intangible desire. Your plan is the specific pathway from your present reality to your definite aim. A written plan eliminates the possibility of vague effort. A clear, written plan serves as the architectural blueprint for your subconscious mind and master-mind alliance, allowing them to cooperate effectively. Third command, strategic silence. When putting principles into practice, keep your own counsel, mouth closed, eyes and ears open. Do not disclose your plans and purposes too freely, except to your mastermind group, as others may undermine you out of envy. Talking too freely allows envious or fearful people, often those in your old toxic environment, to inject doubt. Protect your definite aim from negative suggestions. The silent worker is rarely derailed. Energy is wasted in talk that should be converted into constructive action. Let your results speak for your fixed resolve. Fourth command, action on inspiration. Do not trust your faulty reason when creating plans. When plans appear often as an inspiration or flash from the sixth sense, put them into action immediately. Failure to do this will be fatal to your success. These Inspired ideas are your mind's leverage against lost time. Treat them as commands. Inspired thoughts are often time-sensitive, arriving exactly when the opportunity is ripe and must be seized instantly. Fifth command, rebuild after defeat. Recognize that temporary defeat is merely a signal that your plan is unsound, not that the goal was impossible. Rebuild those plans and set sail again. No man is ever whipped until he ceases effort in his own mind. Failure is feedback. Treat it as an instruction manual for your next attempt. Every significant fortune was built upon a graveyard of temporary failures. The only way to fail permanently is to cease trying. Effort that pays. The persistence insurance. Persistence and specialized knowledge. No one taught you that effort without reward is just tuition. Now you must learn the difference between general and specialized knowledge. You must also develop the persistence to sustain effort long past the point where the untaught give up. Lack of persistence is the weakness common to the majority of men. It is the chief reason they fail. They are masters of the opening sprint, but quit before the finish line comes into sight. This weakness is overcome only by the intensity of one's desire. If you find yourself weak in persistence, it is because you have not yet acquired the money consciousness required for success, or your definite chief aim is not yet a burning desire. Persistence is desire applied to action through sustained willpower. When the desire is vague, it dissolves at the first sign of difficulty. Persistence is the final guarantee that your thought, impulse, fixed by desire and sustained by faith, will reach the stage of materialization. You must learn the difference between general knowledge and specialized knowledge. General knowledge is of little use in the accumulation of money. It is only potential power until organized and directed through practical plans. Your diploma from school provided general knowledge. Your fortune demands specialized knowledge, the precise information needed to deliver your unique service or commodity efficiently. The successful man is the one who has mastered a distinct, marketable skill or body of knowledge relevant to his definite chief aim. Consider the universal failure due to lack of persistence, symbolized by the man who quit digging 3 feet from gold. Conversely, I have studied men like W.C. Fields, Marie Dressler, and Eddie Cantor, who staged tremendous comebacks late in life using persistence and courage. They prove that persistence knows no age. Your setback is not a defeat. It is merely tuition paid for your specialized knowledge. Do not let that tuition go to waste. The accumulated failures of the past are your tuition, and the only way to recover that cost is through the final success that persistence guarantees. Persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. It is a state of mind cultivated through intensity of desire. If you lack persistence, you may remedy this by building a stronger fire under your desires and by adopting the QQS principle. The development of persistence can be made a systematic, cultivated habit, not merely a trait you are born with. Action steps, skill, service, and endurance. You must make the systematic application of persistence a daily, conscious ritual until it becomes an involuntary habit of the subconscious mind. First command, develop persistence, the 4 pillars. Build the habit using these 4 essential elements, which are the only foundation for sustained success. 1. A definite purpose backed by burning desire. 2. A definite plan expressed in continuous action. 3. A mind closed tightly against negative influences, immunity to fear and criticism. 4. A friendly alliance that will encourage you to follow through with your plan. These 4 elements, when combined, create an irresistible mental force that cannot be defeated by external circumstances. Second command, define and acquire specialized knowledge. Decide the sort of specialized knowledge you require for your DCA. If you cannot acquire it yourself, plan to acquire it through the cooperation of others. The person who stops studying because they finish school is hopelessly doomed to mediocrity. You must become an expert in the service or commodity you intend to sell, or ally with those who are. Your immediate task is to identify the precise gap between your current knowledge and the specialized knowledge required to achieve your definite chief aim, and close that gap without delay. Third command, market services using QQS. To sell your personal services effectively and permanently, adopt the QQS formula as a habit. Deliver the maximum quality and quantity of service in a proper spirit of cooperation. Your income is directly proportional to your consistent application of this formula. The QQS principle is the only method by which you can ensure permanent security and increasing fortune, as the law of reciprocity guarantees greater reward for greater service rendered. Fourth command, embrace adversity. The turning point in successful lives often comes at a crisis where they are introduced to their other selves. Recognize that every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. You must use the pain of your past mistakes as fuel for persistence. Adversity is the refining fire that tests the purity of your desire and the soundness of your plan. The greatest leaders and thinkers develop their power through meeting and conquering repeated difficulty, a power you must now cultivate. The leverage lesson, power, multiplier, master, mind, and cooperation. No one taught you the secret of compounding human effort. If you are starting late, you cannot afford to work alone. Power is organized, intelligently directed knowledge. The mastermind is the single lesson that leverages your time and stops the loss of years. Power is essential for success, and it is attained through the cooperative efforts of other people. The mastermind principle is essential for success in accumulating money, defined as the coordination of effort of two or more people working toward a definite end in a spirit of harmony. This alliance closes the gap quickly for the late starter because it immediately provides you with the combined intellect, experience, and resources of everyone in your group. The friction of two or more minds, when working in perfect harmony, generates a third mind of superior intellectual power. The man who feels behind because he lacks capital or credentials is simply mistaken. He lacks organized power. Capital can always be commanded by the man who has organized power. The lack of one is merely a symptom of the lack of the other. Consider the example of Andrew Carnegie, who accumulated millions by making practical use of the mastermind principle and surrounding himself with men who possessed the specialized knowledge he lacked. He admitted he knew little of the technical side of steel. He organized a mastermind group of men, Schwab, Frick, and others, and coordinated their efforts. His power came not from his personal schooling, but from his organized knowledge, which he gathered through his alliance. He bought the best specialized brains he could find and coordinated them under his definite purpose. Carnegie demonstrated that the collective genius of an organized group is infinitely more potent than the individual genius of one man. The mastermind is the bridge across the educational and resource gap you fear. It is your only true recourse against the years you have lost. This principle cannot obtain where perfect harmony does not prevail. Disharmony is the friction that stops the power machine. The power of the mastermind is psychic as well as material, and this psychic power is instantly neutralized by any form of envy, jealousy, or conflict between its members. Action steps. Building immediate power. You must move immediately to organize the necessary power to execute your definite aim. First command, organize your mastermind alliance. Ally yourself with a group of as many people as you may need for the creation and carrying out of your definite plan. Utilize them to acquire knowledge and check your plans. These individuals do not have to be men you pay. They can be mentors, colleagues, or partners whose definite aim complements yours. The formation of this alliance must be done with the same precision and seriousness you apply to your written definite chief aim. Second command, mandate harmony. You must maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of your mastermind group. Failure to carry out this instruction to the letter will lead to failure. Your primary responsibility to the group is the maintenance of this harmony, built on loyalty and fairness. Harmony ensures the smooth flow of organized thought and psychic energy, which is the source of the third mind of the alliance. Third command, leadership through encouragement and the QQS. The successful leader leads by encouraging and not by trying to instill fear in followers. Use sympathy, understanding, and fairness. You must also demonstrate your worthiness to lead by adopting the QQS formula as a habit. Consistently deliver the maximum quality and quantity of service in a proper spirit of cooperation. This commitment is the magnet that attracts high-level minds and ensures their loyalty. A leader must command respect through superior service and integrity, not through coercive force. Fourth command, practice invisible counsel. To stimulate your creative imagination, the sixth sense, practice holding imaginary council meetings with successful historical figures whose traits you wish to acquire. For example, Carnegie, Ford. This helps you internalize the mental habits of a genius. This is a practical form of autosuggestion that makes your own tenor mind more receptive to the mental patterns of success. Fifth command, control your destiny. Recognize that you have the power to control your own thoughts, and thus you are the master of your own earthly destiny. The constant habit of keeping your mind busy with a definite purpose, backed by a definite plan, is the most practical method for controlling the mind. Your alliance, guided by your definite aim, is the ultimate expression of self-command. The man who controls his own mind can control all external circumstances that affect his life. The final command, integrating the 13 principles. We have established the 5 core lessons required to stop the loss of years: desire, faith, autosuggestion, decision, planning, persistence, specialized knowledge, and mastermind. The man who has integrated these principles is already on the road to commanding his own destiny. But the final elements of my philosophy are required to ensure that your success is permanent and that your old environment and fears do not sabotage your new trajectory. The remaining principles, energetic transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, the sixth sense, and the 6 basic fears are the final tools you must master to achieve the final state of self-command and secure your place above the fear of time. The power of energetic transmutation. The 10th principle, many men fail to rise to great heights because they waste the energy of their strongest, most potent drives. Energetic transmutation is the process of channeling the powerful energy that is inherent in the primal urge, the most powerful of all human urges, into creative work, artistic expression, or, most importantly for you, the rapid accumulation of wealth. No great genius has ever been known to achieve greatness without possessing a highly developed energy source and managing it effectively. The man who is behind the clock must learn to use this powerful energy to accelerate his thought, decision, and action. It is not about suppression, but about redirection. When this energy is transmuted into the creative power of the mind, it can generate an intensity of thought and purpose that accelerates all other principles. The sustained effort of a long climb demands this power. This redirection is the vital force that turns mere effort into genius. The accumulation of money requires tremendous energy, and this principle provides the highest voltage mental power available to man. Action command recognize the immense power of this energy. Immediately begin to consciously redirect the energy of your highest emotional drive away from mere physical expression and into the burning desire and persistence needed to execute your definite chief aim. Channel this primal intensity toward the creation of your organized plans. Make the pursuit of your definite aim the central and most consuming desire in your life. The subconscious mind, the 11th principle, the law of habit. We covered the importance of programming the subconscious through autosuggestion, but you must understand its nature as a force of habit. Your mind is the chemical laboratory of your destiny. Every thought you repeat, good or bad, is mixed with emotion and passed to the subconscious for execution. The late starter struggles because his subconscious mind is a storehouse of past negative habits. The habit of delay, the habit of doubt, the habit of associating with negative people. Cosmic habit force rewards only rhythm, not randomness. It reinforces whatever is repeated. You must now understand that your old destructive habits must be consciously replaced by constructive ones. This is the difference between temporary success and permanent fortune. The chain of habit is too light to be felt until it is too heavy to be broken. The subconscious mind is the engine of destiny, and habit is the mechanic that sets its constant course. Action command. Your success depends entirely upon the establishment of the habit of applying the 13 principles daily. Do not miss a single day of the twice-daily ritual of faith reading your DCA. Do not miss a single day of the distasteful task. Consciously choose the rhythm of success until the subconscious mind takes over and the new, powerful habits guide you automatically. Establish a fixed schedule for success and obey it ruthlessly. The consistent repetition of constructive action is the only price for the mastery of the subconscious mind. The brain, the 12th principle, the receiving and transmitting station. The brain is the only physical organ through which man can use his mind to communicate with others and through which he can receive thought. The Mastermind Alliance is made possible by this principle. Your brain is the receiving station for the ideas, plans, and knowledge that you secure through your harmonious alliance. The better the harmony, the clearer the transmission. This means that your brain is capable of receiving ideas that originate outside of your personal experience, supplied by the mastermind or infinite intelligence itself. Your organized knowledge relies on your brain's ability to receive thought vibrations. The mastermind works by linking the brains of the group, and this connection is the physical manifestation of the mental power we seek. Action Command, actively use your brain as a receiving station. Schedule regular, definite meetings or calls or chats with your mastermind group. Do not meet for coffee and chatter. Meet for the purpose of receiving and transmitting ideas related to your definite aim. Learn to recognize the sudden, powerful insights that arrive. These are the mental transmissions of your alliance, and you must act on them promptly. Treat these intellectual flashes as direct instructions, for they often contain the precise, timely information required for success. The sixth sense, the 13th principle, the doorway to infinite intelligence, the sixth sense is the apex of philosophy, the point where the mind contacts infinite intelligence. This is a subtle, profound insight that comes not through study or reason, but through the perfect harmony of all the other 12 principles. It is the spontaneous idea, the sudden flash of genius, the hunch that proves correct. This is not for the beginner, but for the man who has relentlessly applied the principles of persistence and autosuggestion. It is the final level of self-mastery, attained only through discipline. The sixth sense eliminates the guesswork of the common man. The sixth sense is the silent communication channel between man and the reservoir of universal wisdom. Action Command. You cannot force the sixth sense, but you can prepare for it. Your preparation is the diligent daily application of the other 12 principles. As you move with definite aim, unshakable faith, and constant persistence, your mind will become receptive, and the final piece of the plan will be given to you by a source greater than yourself. Master the basics, and the advanced powers will be granted to you. The daily practice of the first 12 principles is the rigorous schooling required for the development of the ultimate power of the 13th. The 6 basic fears, the final barrier. The final barrier between you and your goal is not the lack of time, money, or opportunity. It is the paralysis of fear. Every form of procrastination, indecision, and weakness in persistence can be traced back to one or more of the 6 basic fears that afflict mankind. 1. The fear of poverty. 2. The fear of criticism. 3. The fear of ill health. 4. The fear of loss of affection. 5. The fear of old age. 6. The fear of finality for the late starter. The 2 most crippling are the fear of poverty, the worry that the money will run out before success arrives, and the fear of criticism, the anxiety over what others will say about the attempt, especially after previous delays. The fear of poverty manifests as a lack of definite chief aim and a constant aversion to risk, keeping you trapped in the safe routine. It makes you cling to a toxic environment because it feels secure. The fear of criticism is the voice that whispers, "What if you try and fail again? What will your friends or family, the same ones who watched you delay, say after all this time?" This fear destroys the decision and persistence needed to move forward. These fears are responsible for your delayed life, paralyzing you with imagined threats. These 6 fears are nothing more than states of mind, and therefore they are subject to the control and direction of the human will. Action command. You must immediately perform a self-analysis to determine which fears are paralyzing your will. Write down your dominant fear, and then for every fear, write an antidote in the form of a definite command for constructive thought. The fear of poverty is conquered only by a definite plan, acted upon with immediate decision. The fear of criticism is conquered only by building an impenetrable wall of immunity against negative thoughts. Do not merely identify the fears. Write the precise mental command that neutralizes the fear at its root. The complete and permanent mastery of these fears is the final test of your self-command, leading to true, lasting freedom. The time for analysis, delay, and self-pity is finished. The man who is behind must run with an urgency and a focus that the man who started early never had to summon. The entire philosophy is a system for eliminating the mental chains of the past and commanding your own destiny in the present. I ask you now to reflect on this entire lesson. You are armed with the only principles of success that have ever worked for any man who built a fortune from scratch. In the comments below, share your age, your definite chief aim, and one action you will take now to conquer procrastination. The shame of the past is gone. The time you have lost is now. Your greatest source of fuel. If you have realized that your environment and past self-talk have been holding you back, and you want to ensure others who feel the same way find this message, please share this video with one person you know who feels stuck or behind in their life. Your action could be the definitive catalyst they need. You may feel late to the game, but I tell you this, the only true failure is the man who surrenders his will to the clock. You have been given the formula for the accumulation of wealth, not as a theory, but as an absolute law. Your time is short, but your potential is infinite. You are not too late. Start now. This channel walks with you.